Are you happy with us, Victoria?
Yes, I am. At least, I would be if my father were here.
Yes, I know.
I wonder what he would have thought if he could see me now.
You miss him very much, don't you?
It's only when I close my eyes I can still see him standing there before those horrible Dalek creatures came to the house. He was a very kind man. I shall never forget him. Never.
No, of course you won't. But, you know, the memory of him won't always be a sad one.
I think it will. You can't understand being so ancient.
Eh?
I mean old.
Oh.
You probably can't remember your family.
Oh, yes, I can when I want to. And that's the point, really. I have to really want to bring them back in front of my eyes. The rest of the time, they sleep in my mind, and I forget. And so will you. Oh, yes, you will. You'll find there's so much else to think about, to remember. Our lives are different to anybody else's. That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here. I hope you all had a good Christmas, and now welcome back to another top 10 video. This time we'll be looking at my top 10 60s companions, so companions of the first and second Doctors. Well, there's not really much to say, to be honest. Let's just jump right into the list at number 10 with Vicky.
Doctor, you've got to let them go if they want to. They want to be back in their own time.
Don't you want to go with them, child?
What for? What do I want to be back in their time for? I want to be with you. Doctor, you've got to help them.
Don't you realize, child, the enormous risks?
But it's up to them.
Vicky is the first companion not to be part of the original TARDIS crew. And, you know, she's sort of like a stand-in for Susan after Susan leaves in the Dalek Invasion of Earth. But in all honesty, I prefer Vicky to Susan. Vicky is a much better character, I feel. She's a bit less whiny and whatnot. Not that I dislike Susan, it's just I ultimately prefer Vicky. Because she's just a bit more likeable and a bit more, like, proactive, I guess, in a lot of ways. So now let's move on to 9th place, which is a similar name, Victoria.
Help me, please!
Never mind about that now.
Will you release me, please?
What happened?
I ran away, and the warrior caught me. The ice fell.
You ran away, but why?
The warriors, they're evil. Well, they killed Arden. I think they want to destroy the base.
They are against the scientists.
I know, but they won't listen. They think the ionizer is a weapon against them.
No, it's true, a weapon of destruction.
Only to destroy the ice.
It will destroy civilization.
Anyway, thank you. Where were you going?
Oh, well, your friend, the boy.
Jamie, he's alive. Oh, is he all right?
Oh, he's desperately ill. I'm going for help.
Where?
We must move out of here, quickly.
Now, while Victoria may have a similar name to Vicky, they are as different as two characters can be, but I really do love them both. They are great characters in their own ways. And, you know, Victoria is much more of a screamer, but she's almost a definitive screamer, but also there's a character behind all that. There's a very caring nature, and she's got a great kind of like relationship with the Doctor and Jamie and whatnot. And that TARDIS crew, despite having no one that you can relate to, no one from present day, because they're all, well, Victoria and Jamie are from the past, and the Doctor's obviously from Gallifrey, you know, it still works. And, you know, people kind of like say you need someone from the modern day to relate to. You really don't, and this really does prove that. And kind of like, you relate to them through their strong character traits, and you kind of like grow attached to them through what they do and whatnot. And now they grow as characters. And that TARDIS team really does prove that, and the following one, which is of course the Doctor, Jamie and Zoey. So now let's move on to my next two companions. Actually, I'm grouping these two together because they really are inseparable. They are, of course, Ben and Polly.
babe. Come in and meet the Daleks. What? The Daleks.
It really is a shame that Ben and Polly only have one complete story in the BBC archives, as far as we know, of course. There may be others found. There are rumours always going around and whatnot, but as far as we know, The War Machines is the only one we have complete. Which is a real shame, because, I mean, War Machines is a good story, but there are so many other stories, like Power of the Daleks and the Macra that really deserve to be found with them, and they're more associated with the Second Doctor. They do have some stories with the first, including his last story, the 10th Planet, so they are the first two companions to see a regeneration. So they've got that going for them, but it's a shame that because they don't really have that many stories complete, well, only one story complete, and very few stories on DVD, they're not really as well remembered as I think they should be, and they deserve to be. But anyway, now let's move on to 6th place, Stephen Taylor.
Here it is, my dear. There's the TARDIS. Safe and sound. Didn't I tell you so?
Oh, am I glad to see that old police box again.
Oh, glad indeed. Well, we will start climbing down the cliff and get aboard as soon as we can. There's going to be an invasion shortly.
What, you mean any minute now the Viking fleet's going to sail past here?
Yes, my boy, yes. And history will be allowed to take its natural course.
You know, I'm beginning to like the idea of being a crew member on a time machine.
A crew member? You'll be lucky. He's the crew. We're just the passengers.
Yes, and both very welcome ones, my dear. Come along, come along. Come on, come on.
It's a heck of a way down. Wish we had a pair of wings.
When Ian and Barbara left, they didn't decide to replace them with a surrogate kind of replacement like they did with when Susan left. They brought in Vicky, who was very similar but different, and as you know, if you saw the earlier bit of this video, which I'm sure you did, unless you skipped it, I don't know what I'm on about now, I do prefer Vicky to Susan, but when they brought on Stephen, the dynamic changed very much, whereas when Vicky came on, the dynamic between the four didn't change that much. We're now down to 3, and there's a very different dynamic, because now the Doctor's got that moral centre that Ian and Barbara had for the early days, but now we're moving forward, and Stephen still kind of carries the action in a lot of ways, but he's a very different character, a very funny character, and I really do like his character. So now let's move on to 5th place, which is Zoey.
Class 3197 selected female Zogon.
Zogon? Zoe! They mean you!
They have chosen you as a companion.
And we all know what happens to them, don't we?
Oh, Doctor, what shall I do?
Well, she doesn't have to go, does she?
Well, does she or doesn't she?
I'm afraid she must. Complete obedience is the Croton's first command, and if we fail to obey...
They'll destroy you, I see.
Oh, dear.
Now do you see what you've done? Fooling around with this stupid machine!
But I'm not a gong.
But the machine doesn't know that!
Oh, where are you going?
I'm going to take the test. I can't let you go in there alone. What do I do?
Oh, sit down and put this headset on. And press the button. Press the button!
All right, there's no need to shout. Go away and don't fuss me. Come back, what's this? It's all right, I know. Right, fire away, I'm ready.
Now, Zoe is a very fun companion, and she works very well alongside the Second Doctor and Jamie, and, you know, she kind of like brings out the best in both of them in a lot of ways. She's got a very good kind of like humour and interaction with Jamie, and kind of like teasing him, and, you know, kind of like the Doctor and Zoe occasionally gang up on him and whatnot. But she's also kind of like got that competitiveness with the Doctor as well as to who's smarter. So overall, a very good companion. And now let's move on to well, another group together, because obviously you can't keep these two apart. It is Ian and Barbara.
You're not idiots. We want to go home.
Yes, home. I want to sit in a pub and drink a pint of beer again. I want to walk in a park and watch a cricket match. Above all, I want to belong somewhere, do something, instead of this aimless drifting around in space.
Aimless? I tried for 2 years to get you both home.
Well, you haven't been very successful, have you?
How dare you, young man? How dare you, sir? I didn't invite you into the ship in the first place. You both thrust yourselves upon me.
Doctor, stop!
Oh, for heaven's sake, I've never heard such nonsense.
Look, I
I know we thrust ourselves upon you, but we've been through a great deal together since then. And all we've been through will remain with us always. It'll probably be the most exciting part of my life. Look, Doctor, we're different people. And now we have a chance to go home. We want to take that chance.
Now, when Ian and Barbara were introduced in 1963, while they may not have been in the name of the show, they were very much the main characters. They were the kind of like audience. They were the audience, basically, I guess is the best way to put it. They were kind of like the audience's viewpoint into the show, more accurately. And, you know, they're kind of like viewing this strange world for the first time and whatnot. And kind of like discovering Susan and everything. And then the Doctor, finally. And then they go on this whole adventure. And they really do develop as characters. But they also develop the Doctor as a character. They're the reason he kind of like becomes good and goes on this crusade to kind of like make things right in the universe that is still going on today. So now let's move on to second place, which is the Brigadier.
Fairly strongly.
Doctor, careful! Doctor, shut the door!
The sphere is working.
Never mind about that.
Why? What's happened?
We tried to get out of the surface door, but the fungus is there.
Well, I'm not surprised. I thought the intelligence would try to hem us in.
Yes, unfortunately, it's got into HQ.
What?
Don't worry, managed to get a fire door closed. Should hold it.
I hope you're right.
Come on, Anne, we must get to work.
Doctor, tell me this sphere of yours, exactly how is it going to help us?
Well, the sphere itself, it won't.
Hey?
No, but it will help us to test the control box.
Is that all?
All?
You mean to say you've wasted all this time just to...
Wasted? We haven't been wasting our time.
Well, I think you have.
Must agree with the boy, Doctor. You don't seem to have achieved very much.
Colonel, if you left us alone, we'd get along a lot quicker.
Huh? Oh, very well. Come on, McCrimmon, we'll leave them to it.
Right, Anne. Let's get on with this control box.
Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, or Colonel Lethbridge Stewart as he was in The Web of Fear, his first appearance, but, you know, some people would argue that he's not really a companion. I personally believe he is, so he's on this list. It's down to a different argument for another day, to be honest. But this character of the Brigadier, looking at him just from the 60s stories, he really is good in both those stories, The Invasion and The Web of Fear. Very serious, but also, you know, just very fun at times as well, mainly in The Invasion. He's got some good lines, whatnot. But overall, he's just a great character, and one who really does show a lot of promise in his early stages, and Nicholas Courtney is such a great actor to play the role. So now let's move on to the first place, which I'm sure you've all guessed by now, is Dodo. I'm just kidding, it is actually Jamie McCrimmon.
2,
Fine.
3,
Quiet, Jamie.
Oh. What's been happening?
4.
Yeah.
Steady at 4.
Oh, no.
There's something wrong.
5,
Good.
6,
Fine.
7, 8.
Oh, let it creep up now. I don't want to blow the fluid links again.
Just the most peculiar dream. There was this big white horse with a horn right in the middle of his head, and
A unicorn.
Hey? Aye, probably. He was charging straight towards me.
998.
Head down, ready for the kill. I thought any moment.
Really, Jamie, your imagination is...
Now, I meant no offense to Dodo. I do actually quite like her character in the 2 stories I've seen her in. One of them is The War Machine, so obviously, yeah, her final story where she's phased out by the end of episode 2. But anyway, this isn't about her, this is about Jamie, and he is a magnificent character, he truly is. And he's just got a great, Fraser Hines has a great interaction with Patrick Charlton, it is amazing, and it really starts in the Faceless ones. And it just goes right through to the end of the War Games. They are perfect together. They're such a great Doctor-companion pairing. So now, I think that's the end of this. Thanks for watching, everyone. And I'll see you all next time with a review of the Christmas Invasion. Bye, everyone.